Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible, one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the most amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out. This one is called The Ultimate Guide to Becoming a Successful Soul Professional. 22 powerful growth strategies for up-leveling your soul-aligned business. I love saying that entire title of this book. It is so powerful. I want to say a huge thank you to our lead author, Camille Miller. Camille, thank you so much for getting this stellar author cast together. Thank you for your mission in the Natural Life Business Partnership that Camille founded. And she is really the pioneer of the soul professional movement, you guys. She has a big mission to do business differently. And I was so excited when she came to me with her book series. This book is the second in what's going to be eventually a three-book series. And I'm really, really excited to bring you this author cast today. I have Candace J. Friedenberg with me. She's the founder of Untapped Potential, is an engineering social change for women with an innovative return to work offering that impacts gender equality. Dorian Madra Perla is the founder and CEO of the Limitless Lifestyle Academy, where she and her coaches help women over 45 renew and re-empower themselves to create optimal nutritional, movement, and mental fitness so they can experience life part 2 beyond their greatest expectations in bodies they love. Jolinda Johnson is with us. She is an award-winning certified life coach and holistic health coach who specializes in burnout and menopause. Oh, perimenopause. I would imagine menopause too, though. A little bit of everything. Yeah. I am always struggling with the burnout, but the menopause thing, girls, I'm telling you. Okay. So Teresa Trigas Pfefferly is a real estate maven experienced in many facets of the real estate industry, which includes sales, multifamily investing, leadership, coaching, and speaking. Whew. Can you guys feel the power of the women I have in my Zoom room today? I hope so. Candace, you're going to start our party off. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Thank you, Laura. My chapter is chapter 14, Launching Untapped Potential, A Passion for Equity. And I was really psyched when Camille asked me to be a part of this, because it's all of our work in advancing business and reigniting careers is all about applying your passion to your second stage career. And we help women and men who've opted out for caregiving and ensure caregivers feel good about the work they've done and help them align their passion to their work-life success. And I really think that there's so much changing in the workplace today that you can align your passion with your business.
I'm glad that you said about the changing piece, because that came up in my mind right away listening to you. Change is tough. And lately, we have been having to face that challenge over and over again. Are people getting better at it? What do you think?
Well, our work is really around advancing businesses and making businesses understand this untapped human capital and how they can add value wherever they are in their work-life success. And because women are highly educated and have great experience. And really for the women, it's looking at, this is your second stage career. And they might think of the old world and how it was. And really, like Laura, you said, work has changed. Mode of work has changed. How we work has changed. And I want women to know they can reach their potential and apply their passion and do so much more than they could have if they had stayed in the game prior to caregiving.
And I think that should feel super exciting to people to be like, oh yeah, I can do this. And I think sometimes we're afraid to reach out for the help. Mm-hmm. And in this Zoom room and in this book, this is so much more than a book, y'all. This is, these authors stepped up to write a chapter with a real story, first of all. So thank you all for that. But also their master teachings to give you a practical experience, to give you a nugget, a strategy, a practice, something that you can actually do to move forward. So if you're hearing Candace talk about, taking that passion and making that move forward, what else do you want to say about that, Candace? What's important for people to understand about making that step?
Well, in my chapter, I talk about the strategy for success, and really it's getting out of your box, whether it's your historical box in the workplace or your mom box at home, and crawl, walk, run, leverage those around you, and you'll get to your potential. I never thought I would be, as an engineer, launching a business, nor educating others on how they can achieve their business success. So it just, with starting with a kernel of wanting to make a difference and applying that passion of, there should be women in senior roles. There should be women in STEM. You can make a difference in that, and you can make a business around it.
Thank you, Candace. Thanks for being here today. Dorian, you're next. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hello. Excuse me. Well, I'm chapter 19, and my chapter is about achieving the achiever's mindset and how we go about creating an achiever's mindset in a really different way than you might normally think. So through my experience in my life, I found that in many different areas of my life, I kept hitting ceilings, and particularly in my business, I would find I'd grow, and then I'd hit a ceiling, and I'm like, why is this happening? And through my work with my clients, it was a very profound meeting with one of my clients one day during COVID, actually, and I realized I was asking her to do something that I wasn't doing myself. I was asking her to believe in herself and her capabilities. And I realized that I was not doing that myself and believing in myself and my capabilities, not just in my work, but in my life as well.
That one thing is so, so important. And I think, so what y'all are going to hear today are golden nuggets of awareness. I hope you all are paying attention to these nuggets that these authors are dropping for you. But you have to be aware of the fact that you aren't believing in yourself to wake up and do something differently and flip the switch. And that is tough sometimes, to retrain that awareness process, to wake up faster and go, oh, whoa, I'm not even doing that for myself. Tell us more about that. It's so important.
Yeah, well, Laura, I one of my biggest beliefs, core value beliefs, is that I believe that we're all born into this world with this greatness inside of us, our own personal greatness that was given to us by God. And somehow along the way, that greatness gets chipped away and chipped away and chipped away and chipped away. But here's the great thing. It's not gone. It's just been, it needs some Band-Aids or something, and it needs to heal. And we need to get back in touch with it. And that's where our belief in ourselves lies. So it's really a combination of like coming back into your own greatness and also believing in your greatness to succeed anywhere in your life.
You talked about achievers, and once upon a time, I think I wrote the words, achieving was my drug of choice. I kind of went the negative route with that because I saw it as I just got to get to the next thing. I couldn't slow down and just celebrate the first achievement before I was off to doing the next one. Where does that fit into your world? Are you aware of that?
Achievement and autonomy is a basic human need, right? And if you're not achieving, somehow it's tied to not feeling autonomous. And so what I would do, and I saw this pattern in my life, when I look back, I would do something, I'd hit that ceiling, and when I couldn't break through, I'd go to something else. And then I'd go to something else, and I'd go to something else. And until I realized what was happening, and it wasn't very long ago, you guys, it was a couple of years ago, like 2.5 years ago. And since I did, I will tell you, my whole life has changed. Just from this one little shift, but it has massive impact on the way you think, on the way you act, on your thinking. And I kind of go through that in my exercise in the book. We talk about empowered thinking to believe. And when you believe, you can do anything.
Yes, you can. I always say yes with an exclamation point. Dorian, thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, awesome topics. Thank you, ladies, for kicking this off so amazingly. I can't wait for you all to read this book. Oh, I can't wait. Jolinda, you're next. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
So my chapter is When It All Feels Like Too Much, Strategies for Managing Your Well-Being in Times of Overwhelm. And I wanted to write about this one because I specialize in helping people recover or hopefully avoid burnout and chronic stress, but most of them come to me after decades of pushing themselves, overextending themselves, and like you just mentioned in your conversation with Dorian, using achievement like a drug. You know, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And if they aren't doing 110%, then they feel like they're failing. So in the chapter, I wanted to talk about what to do when you feel like, wow, especially in midlife, and those of us who are going through perimenopause and hormonal changes, a lot of times we have to learn to start saying no to things that we previously would have had the capacity for, which can feel really uncomfortable. And what to do when you've committed to all of these things and you just can't. You know, you've reached a wall, a physical, where your body says no, and you need to scale back or delegate or reprioritize. And a lot of us never learned those tools. And a lot of us really have no idea how to work with our bodies instead of pushing our bodies harder. So we are more used to being dysregulated than actually in this place of nervous system regulation and calm, and working from the stress response. So this chapter hopefully will give people some really practical ways, you know, as an entrepreneur, as someone running their own soul-led business, for what happens when it feels like it's too much and I've got to get out of it, you know, so that I can come back to myself and come back to a place of confidence and calm and achieve from nervous system regulation. Instead of frantic
that feel,
overreaching.
yes.
Yeah.
Frantic chaos, that those have physical feelings inside too. I want to rewind you for a minute back to talking about when you reach the wall. So I feel like the universe, you know, put the wall up, but there was a gift there. And that was that I was actually much easier able to set the boundaries with particular people and say
Absolutely.
no without having to feel the discomfort. But if we would all like you to do it faster than that, right? So talk to us more about, like, how do you catch it before the wall? What are some of the signs? How can we catch it?
Well, I think, you know, you have to create intentional space in your day, so that you can check in with yourself. You know, so if you have even 5 minutes where you're like, how am I breathing right now? Where am I tense in my body? What is it that I am, you know, automatically focusing on? And a lot of us don't even take that time to check in with ourselves before giving ourselves over to the projects or the people or the things that are pulling at us. Also, what are your top priorities? You know, so if you are clear on your top priorities, then you can more easily say no to all the other things. What's really going to move the needle forward? You know, so for example, some of us are addicted to social media in terms of content production. You know, like if I don't constantly put out something, then everyone's going to forget about me. But is it actually moving the needle forward in your business to constantly be putting out the reels and the stories and the posts, etc.? Or is it really that you just need to make a phone call or write an email or reach out to someone personally, and that would move your bottom line? Do you know what I mean? So it's being really honest with yourself too about what are these obligations and what was the reason behind them? Was it for my need for validation? Was it because I didn't want to disappoint someone? Was it because I am afraid of what it will feel like to do less? Because for some of us, that can be a really scary place to actually be at 60%, even if we can, keep all of our costs covered and no one's, affected, so to speak. But just for us to say, oh no, I'm coasting, that could be, even if it's better for our physical health, our minds go wild with that idea of slowing down, and what it means for our worth and our value and our visibility. So I would say get clear on your priorities, make space for your body and its needs and how it's talking to you, and also be honest with yourself about the reason why behind all of the things that you've taken on as your responsibilities.
Yes, I love that. So, so important. Everything I do from my first career in holistic physical therapy is from a body awareness standpoint. And so when you can be in your body, you're going to find a lot of answers coming back in. I love what you're saying about checking in and giving yourself space for that. Jolinda, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Teresa, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hey, hi. I'm just basking in Jolinda's energy for a minute. So there's a fact that 85% of realtors fail. And I thought it was important to share my story after 21 years in the business of how and why I got into real estate. And for me, it was a triumphant moment in my life because I was overcoming crazy adversity. And I look back, it wasn't until 19 years in the business that I looked back and went, oh my God, I can't believe I launched into a business where 85% of the people fail. And 21 years later, I'm brokering an office of 150 people. And I have a portfolio of multifamily investments. And I coach agents that I took a deep breath and went, and it was it's just interesting, right? It's an interesting and heart-centered story to connect with what it took for me to take one foot in front of the other and get to where I am today. And I think that I feel that can be an inspiration to many people who are on the cusp of wanting to start their own business or wanting to step out into something different, and struggling through. And what I like to say to my agents is, failing forward through these phases of our life to get to the other side, if there ever is another side. So, my chapter is about a little piece of that story.
That's a heavy stat. I would imagine you didn't, did you know that statistic when you signed up for the career? Right. Thank goodness.
I thought I need to do something fast. And what can I do that's fast? Okay. If I ask for help, I could get a babysitter for 2 weeks and I could get my real estate license. I mean, like literally in my mind, that's all I'm thinking. And when I look back now and I realize all of the things that have to happen in order for you to get a check, it was not thoroughly thought through, but it was instinctual.
I think that it's like, I want to say to people about that statistic that you shared. I'm a person who I don't own a television. I'm not watching cable. I'm not listening to statistics that are negative. I am doing my thing. And I don't want to hear what the rest of the world thinks about my career choice or my chances in life in general, right? But however, that I didn't like pop into that mindset, you know, overnight. It took a while, it took a lifetime to get there. It sounds like you were in it a little bit from the get-go, like you weren't listening to that outside world.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I didn't have an option at that point in my life to listen to anything other than my own intuition and reaction to, I have to now take ownership of what's happening in my life and what are the most important things to me, right? At the time, I was becoming a single parent. So it was very important to me to have some control over my time, some control over whether or not I was there to put my oldest son on or off the bus. And I thought, how is that going to work if I am in an office from 9 to 5 or, you know, in a more corporate setting? And that was it. It like just kind of like came up out of me. Okay, I'm going to do this. And then once I was like, all right, I'm going to do this, it was just, I got to do what I got to do.
Well, Jalinda mentioned it too, and you just said it, you know, priorities, and priorities will help with overwhelm. So when you have the clarity there, it's almost like you don't have the other options. The overwhelm starts to go away because you are a bit more focused on what matters. And I love that about what you're saying. I love so much all of your stories. Thank you all for taking that challenge I gave you to really put your hearts and souls on the page. And also, I know our listeners, you know, they're realizing what kind of women you are right now, just from you sharing these little bits today in the interview. This book is full of the master teachings, which are a culmination of all of your life experiences, life and business and everything. And I just think it's such a gift, all of you. Thank you so much. You know, not just for saying yes to this, but for really taking up that challenge to give those beautiful things to the readers. I think that they're going to be amazed when they dive into this book. Dorian, what does it mean to you to be a soul professional? And remember to unmute yourself, girl.
All right, I have a little cough, so I muted myself. Yes, so what it means to me to be a soul professional is that my 3 top values in my life are love, freedom, and connection. And connection is probably the top, because the other 2 kind of fall under that. Because if I don't have connection, heart to heart, soul to soul with people in my life, I feel empty. And I feel like I'm not doing what I was put on this earth to do. So it's really, really important to me, everything in my life, but particularly my business, to have that connection and soul to soul, heart to heart, mind to mind connection with everybody I work with, whether it's a client or an instructor or a vendor, a coach, whoever it is. Just really important to me to have that. So that's what it means for me.
Thank you for that. Thanks for kicking off that question like that. I would imagine all of you would agree that connection is one of the most important business building strategies, period. So if you're a business owner and you're moving towards success, however you defined it, connection has to be a piece of that, because people are why we're successful. Other people and them, you know, giving us money for services and products and all the things we do. Yeah, connection is a big one. You're making me think a little bit deeper about that, Dorian. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing about that?
Yeah, please.
I think connection really fosters trust, and trust will foster great relationships, strong relationships, lasting relationships. So
Yes.
it's really a driver of something else that's really important to me, and probably all of you ladies.
You know, connection will either build that or it won't. And it can actually be used as a disqualifier. It's okay to say no to people. I think Jalinda talked about the no too, right? Like you're either going to build that with someone or you're not. And that's okay to know the difference between those to people in your world. And yes, I love understanding this. Awareness is everything. It's going to take your life and your business to the next level. Jalinda, how would you answer this question? What does it mean to you to be a soul professional?
For me, it's always coming back to my soul's purpose and my soul's calling. No matter how far I go in my business or what I feel that my ego wants to achieve, I have to hold myself accountable to my soul. And that sometimes means, I loved what Teresa shared about it was not thoroughly thought through, it was instinctual. And for me, when you're moving through business as a soul professional, there are some times where you're like, yeah, this is working, this is bringing in the money, but my soul is not lighting up at all, and it's being called in a different direction, and it's clear as day that it wants to go there. And so you have to figure out, like, how am I going to pivot? Sometimes you have to burn everything down, but hopefully you just pivot, find it, maybe incorporate some of the new information that's coming. But I always have to involve my spiritual work, my speaking of connection, I always have to maintain that strong connection with my soul, because that's ultimately what guides me. And especially in the second half of life, we know that what brings you fulfillment is that greater connection to soul's purpose and soul's calling, as opposed to checking off, one goal after the next. It's, are you connected to the process, as opposed to getting the high from the achievement at the end. And I find that the closer I am to what my soul wants, the more connected I am with the joy of the doing and the value of the learning and the failing and the lessons of that are being offered to me. So I know that as a coach, I'm a life coach, a health coach, as well as a priestess. And if I couldn't bring the priestess into my work, then it would not be the same. So that's what a soul professional would be for me.
I love it. Joy is definitely my GPS system for this answer. And then sometimes I forget, right? And I'm laying there and things aren't so joyful. And I wake up in that and I go, oh, well, are you listening? I talk to myself like this, y'all. So so the joy for sure. Oh my goodness. The number one thing that I follow to make sure I'm aligned every single day, every hour, some days, I need to come back to asking myself that question. What are you feeling right now? Is this feeling good? Are you lit up from within? Are you having fun? Are you laughing? Are you loving?
Yeah.
Are you feeling generous? Are you feeling gratitude? Like all of the yummy stuff. And I think
the glimmers.
Yes. What comes up in every interview, almost everyone, is one of the authors reminding us that it's not about not feeling the bad stuff. And so I'll just repeat that now for everybody. It's like, yeah, but with awareness, I do have a choice, and I'm going to fully feel everything because that's who I am. And I think that I need to honor every feeling, but I don't have to dwell there. It is my choice then to pivot, shift, and move toward the joy. You got me talking about this one, Jalinda. Thank you. Teresa, how would you answer this question? What does it mean to you to be a soul professional?
For me, that means following my center. And in my business, that means doing what's right by the community and the people, and not I would say the antithesis of profits first, profits over people, right? It's more about coming from a heart of contribution. I'll put some context to it. I'm flipping a property right now in a historic district of a community that has seen better days. And my husband and I have kind of butted heads a little bit over, don't spend money here, because the whole intention of this is to make money, right? And I know as business owners, that's the idea, right? We're looking to make money because we're looking to fuel our lives and feed our families. However, for me, it's more about doing what's right for the community, i.e., making the home look the way that it's supposed to look in an ideal world. or as close to it, right? Doing what's right by the next person who's going to own it and live there, because I couldn't sit right with the thought of, I'm not going to replace a water heater because it might not be broken if I know that it's probably going to break in the very near future. And I'm handing this project off to someone else as a gift. And I want to feel like if I'm gifting it to them, that I would be proud of what I'm giving them. So that's sort of like how I am with my clients. It's how I am with my agents. It's how I am with the properties that I flip, because I believe there's a karma to that. And that makes my soul feel good. It feeds my soul. And if I don't operate that way and it becomes very transactional, then all I want to do is put out a gone fishing sign. Like,
I love it. You're making me think of integrity. You're making me think of excellence and staying accountable to keep those standards. It's not anyone else's standards. It's your own soul standards, and to be proud of what you give. I love that.
I think that there's a cost to not being
totally
right. There's a karmic cost to not doing and not operating at a soul level in business, no matter what your business is, right? If let's use the context of house flipping again, it might mean that every fifth home I have to take a beating on because I didn't do it right, or someone sues me because I didn't do it right and I have a payout. So to me, it just feels so much better. And everything that operates around that space ends up working better in the long run, to where I think that although it's hard to see I feel that the average person, it's hard to see because they see profit first. But to me, profit comes when that's the place you're coming from.
Yeah, no doubt. It comes from the energy that you curate.
Mm-hmm.
And so those things you're talking about curate a pretty badass energy. Thank you, Teresa. All right, Candace, I know it's hard to go last on this question, but I know you have something to add. What does being a soul professional mean to you?
Well, first, I just want to align with what Teresa was saying. Really, house flipping, you could find some similarities to matching women with their careers. And it isn't just to make the match because we're going to make a profit or it's going to be we really want that right fit. And is this going to align with them for the long haul? Is it going to meet with their, happy place when they're going into work? They're using all of their strengths, all of their energies, and really feeling confident that this is what they should be spending their life energy doing. And I reflect back to Dorian's comment on, each person having an inner strength that they want to bring to the world, and having that belief that they can do it. And we really, when we say soul aligned business, I do believe that we have an inner strength that people rely on us for, that we bring that energy and we are the best at that. And we try to align that with the workplace and how the workplace can benefit from those jewels of each, soul aligned, mission. And so I think not only women and caregivers are aligning through that career life cycle, but we want people to have work-life success. So aligning and feeling very positive about their success. And I think you can do it whether you're working at a job that has a mission that you stand by, or start your own business and have an alternative career where you're bringing those personality traits and the things you believe in. And that's really what soul aligned business means to me. And we've been fortunate and really get that positive vibe, the positive karma around, seeing women fly and seeing them shine in their role and feeling proud of themselves.
Love it. Y'all can tell that these women are practiced at their walk of what they're doing in the world, their walk of awareness, their walk of self-development. You can hear it in the way that they're answering these questions. And I know sometimes it's not so easy to know what to prioritize or where to start, right? Jalinda, I think it takes a certain something to go from just starting the soul aligned business to actually becoming successful in that business. It's what this book is all about. What do you think is the one most important thing you want people to know about moving toward that, creating that success?
Not to give up on yourself. I think that if there's one thing that I would have done differently on my road to success, also, like success means different things at different times, because for me, success has a lot more to do with time and presence than it does with money per se. So when I was first starting out, it was all about hitting this income goal, the next, but now it's what time do I have to devote to the people and activities that I really love, and how present can I be with my 9-year-old son as a single mom. But I would definitely say that just, we talked about tuning out the noise, and if you are getting that loud message from your soul to keep going, just disregard any of the people who are going to project their own stuff onto you on that path. It's like, I've got a singular mission, and until my soul tells me to turn otherwise, I'm just going to keep going, because it's so easy to get caught up in, well, I put all of this energy into something that only one person noticed. But then if you give up, then you'll never know what's going to happen 3 years down the line, for example. So yeah, just don't give up on yourself, and allow your definition of success to change, because it probably will.
Teresa, how about you? What are you going to say about this? What's the one most important thing you want people to know about moving into that next level with their business?
I would say don't give up. Right? I think like if you had to say one thing is, the one thing you need to succeed in business is the ability to stick with it. And it might move. Do you know what I mean? Like, it might be where, maybe it means you're not making as much money as you thought you'd be making for a season of time while you're honing some of your skills and building your brand, and maybe it means that maybe, like Jalinda said, it's very, very true. Your definition of what success is in that moment is going to shift, right? Because sometimes I know I have to make a college payment this coming quarter. So for me, I'm saying no to all of the picnics and birthdays because I know I got to be out working. Or this is happening in my family's life right now, and I know that that's more important to me than what I bring in 90 days to my pocketbook.
Awesome. All right. 2 votes for don't give up, you guys. You heard it, right? Okay. Candace, what are you going to add to this? What's the one most important thing you want people to know about this, about getting to that next level?
I think really to get to that next level, you really need to reach out for that support, reach out to ecosystems that are here to support you, even networks like this, seeing other successful, passionate people about their business, sticking it out and learning from them and relying on them and ask for help. There's a lot of women entrepreneur organizations, incubators in your state that are blossoming. So you can, like I said in the beginning, get out of your box that you're in and go find that inspiration and support that you need.
Really important. Thank you for that one. Dorian, how about you?
Sorry about that. So it's the whole don't give up thing. I have been baffled for 13 years, about why. I've worked with thousands and thousands of women since 2009. And my biggest question was, why would I have a woman who comes and works with me 6, 9 months, maybe a year, maybe even 2 years, and then all of a sudden she's gone? And I pick up the phone and I ask, what's going on? And there's always something like, it's soccer season and I need to, drive my kids around. And I think I scratch my head. I'm like, so that means you don't want to take care of yourself anymore? I don't understand that. So this baffled me for years and years and years. I could never answer this question. But recently I have, over the past couple of years. And what I realized is that we need to get in touch with limiting beliefs and sabotaging survival techniques and tactics that we developed in our childhood. And we all have them. And they're super, super hardwired and really strong neural pathways in our brain. As long as they're there and they're so strong and you know how to take over your mind and discover what they are, weaken them, and then strengthen the other side of your brain that operates from a place of curiosity and empathy and innovation and adventure. So for me, I've done a lot of this work myself over the past couple of years, and it's life-changing. And you are able to believe because you quieted the noise on the other side that says you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you can't rise above this particular level. Once you address those things and you take control of your mind, the world is your oyster.
I think that is extremely foundational to moving to the next level. I'm going to add my 2 cents on this one. Systems and processes, y'all. I'm going to go technical on you. So after you have the mindset and you on a daily basis, don't give up on yourself and you're doing all of those things, and then you're trying to get this thing you started up a notch over to this place of growth, of expansion, of evolution, your systems and processes that are working in the background automatically for you so that you can continue to go out there and be the face of your business and do your thing is going to be really important. That was important for me for sure. And that's systems processes is a whole show. We could talk for 3, 4, 5 hours about that one alone, about any of your answers alone. But I've got one more for all of you today. And I want you to try to sum it up in a sentence or two. It's going to be challenging to do that. Teresa, I'm going to start with you for this last one. So we author experts, we love to talk about ourselves as guides or facilitators on the journey. We know that we don't fix people. We empower them to connect to their own inner wisdom and intuition. Many of you talked about that today. So what's that one final message for our viewers that will help them connect and help them feel empowered about their business journey?
What is the message to our viewers about the one thing? I'm going to make sure I'm understanding your question correctly.
How do you want them to, what can you offer to help them connect to their own inner wisdom and or feel empowered on their business journey today?
I would say it's leaving space to spend time with themselves. So for me, that has looked like, instead of getting up in the morning and checking my email and going right to my to-do tasks, it's getting up and having my water and going swimming in the pool or taking a cold shower and, spending time, like carving out space to be alone and journal and make sure you're connecting with what you're present to before you go about with the rest of the onslaught that happens.
I love that, Teresa. Teresa's talking about a part of my own Miracle Morning. Y'all read that book? Mm-hmm. Miracle Morning. And I love the way that you answered that question. So I'm going to challenge all the other ladies to answer it similarly, right? How do you personally connect? Maybe give an example. Candace, you're next.
That's a tough one to follow. Definitely, as Dorian had said, connection is so important. And although I'm an engineer and I really thrive on that connection. So for me, meeting people and working with them on a deeper level. And while we have so many advantages today in processes and how you can automate different things, and we leverage them to be efficient, I will always need that connection with people and working with them on a deeper level, whether it is our team in delivering the services we deliver for businesses and candidates, or in helping the candidates find their passion, is like a deep work and a great connection for me. So I'm lucky in that, what is self-care for me is fed by the work I do.
I think probably for all of us. I like that a lot. Thank you. Teresa said, make space for yourself. Candace is saying, connect with others. Yes, yes. Dorian, what do you say? I'll get you to unmute again. We'll get you today.
Abby. I would have to say, breathing into empathy for yourself, for others around you, and for situations that come up in your business and your journey. If we're feeling anxious about things or worried about something, to breathe, sympathetic nervous system, and practice self-empathy and stop beating yourself up.
Super powerful. I think breath work might be the fastest avenue to calm in your moment if you use it that way. If you just remember that is one deep breath away, that other kind of feeling. I love that you mentioned breathing, Dorian. All right, Jalinda, you're gonna close us out today. What is your one message? Oh, let me get you to unmute, Jalinda.
Yes, sorry. Whatever you want to achieve, you'll need to take your body with you. And so many of us think if we just keep overriding our body signals for rest, for space, for pleasure, for comfort, then we'll get to the next level faster. And we actually have to take them along for the ride. We have to rebuild that mind-body connection and trust in our body signals, because it's a place of very potent and powerful information as a business owner.
You have to take your body with you, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. I love that one. And actually, it reminds us all to take care of ourselves. And our success in life and business relies on prioritizing our own healing. Mind, body, soul, spirit, environment, relationships, whatever it is for you today. I think the most successful entrepreneurs put that first so that they can give from an overflow. I think it's so important, and you got to walk around in that body. So it's going to be really important. Authors, thank you so, so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. Thank you, ladies. I want to tell.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh my gosh, it's been my total pleasure to have you here today to listen to you talk about these powerful topics. And I know our listeners have had some nuggets of awareness. And what I want you all to know is that this is so much more than a book. This is a community of generous master teachers who are there for you to answer the next question you have. Maybe you're curious about something they said today, right? So drop down into the show notes. I have everybody hooked up with their websites and links, and you can explore and see all the awesome things that they're up to. They're there for you to take the next step on your journey. And you're all, of course, invited to our book launch party. We're going to have a party on Zoom on Friday, July 14th. That's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to have all of the authors of The Ultimate Guide to Becoming a Successful Soul Professional there with us, sharing their inspiration. And we have some information down below about that for you. And if you happen to be listening to this interview anytime after that July 14th date, well, that just means you can get over to Amazon and purchase your copy of this beautiful book. And lastly, today, everyone, remember, Your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.